Hello, this is going to be a quick one because before I tried to do it as like a 15-minute long video and I realized it's boring and it's retarded, it doesn't work. I can probably condense the whole thing into like 5 minutes, so this is me giving it a try. So, women, dating, okay, doesn't work. Before dating apps existed, the first thing a woman would learn about a man and the first thing that the man would learn about the woman outside of their looks, obviously, is their personality. Because they're fucking talking to each other. You know, the things that they like, the way that they are, the way that they treat people is immediately apparent when you meet somebody naturally. Now, of course, as soon as dating apps came along, that completely eradicated the concept of meeting somebody naturally. Because if you try to go up to somebody that isn't somebody that you know already outside of the meeting people apps, then you look like a fucking crazy person. And so you can only meet people, especially in the context of trying to find a partner, through the dating apps now. And the way that the dating apps work could never work because you cannot effectively portray your personality in the format of a dating profile. And if you look at the way that dating profiles are laid out makes this 10 times worse because your face is up here, the way that you look, nothing you can do about that, that's normal, whatever. But right under it is your fucking job, right under that is your height, and then way under that is the things that you like to do. Now, that is a fucking problem. And now, if dating and the way that relationships were formed was equal, it would still be a problem, but it wouldn't be nearly as much of a problem as it actually is, because dating and forming relationships is inherently matriarchal. Men perform, and women either accept or deny them. And I'm not going to comment on if that's good or bad, because it's how it's been for millions of years, and it'd be retarded to try to condemn that, because what are you going to do? Talk to John Human, CEO of Human, to get that changed? But anyways, and so what that means is you have the ultimate decider, which is women, and their view of men has been altered from qualitative things, spiritual things like their personality and the way they treat people and stuff like that. That has been removed, and now the first things they see and the first things they think about is their job, their height, etc. Quantitative things that are not as important or could be completely irrelevant depending on the situation, to forming that bond and whether or not it is an ideal relationship for those two people. And because of that, it's turned dating into this sort of, it's made it more like looking for a gaming computer on Newegg or buying something off of Amazon. You're looking at the specs, okay? And they're looking at the specs, and the natural human response to a situation like that is that you want to get the better specs. Someone who's taller, someone that has a better job, someone who's, better built, better face, whatever. And so the problem with that is that it creates a discrepancy between who the men are going for and who the women are going for. Because it gives women the illusion that because they've been presented with the opportunity to engage in a relationship with somebody that is leagues ahead of them, it means that they are in the same league as them. And this gets exacerbated by them being able to have one-night stands and sex with these men because, even if you're still relatively attractive, a hot guy will have sex with a girl who's less attractive than him because at the end of the day it's just sex and she's face down half the time anyway. And that gets equated, I can have sex with this hot guy gets equated to I must be as hot as him, which gets equated to I must be able to form a long-term relationship with him. And so what happens is most women go after the top 10 to 15% of men, and most men keep going after the most women. So that doesn't add up. And because it doesn't add up, everybody knows that men are extremely lonely at the moment, and that's not a surprise to anyone unless you're delusional or retarded. But women end up being as lonely as men are, and it's because I have a good analogy for this. 1 second, let me grab it. You can't see how dirty my room is. Fuck you. This is a used air filter that's full of fucking sand. This is a Pythagoras cup, okay? And the cup is a potential relationship, and the liquid is standards, okay? So if you're a woman that's about here, ideally you should be looking around here. But because of this social conditioning that makes women think that they can aim higher than they really can, in the context of long-term relationships, they go for here. And if you know how Pythagoras cup works, it's basically, it was a gag product. Because if you filled it all the way to the top, it would drain all the way to the bottom. And the way that pertains to women is because they're constantly trying to fill their cup all the way to the top, they aren't getting anything out of the men that they're pursuing except for short-term things. And so when it comes to actually something genuinely spiritual, a long-term relationship, they try to fill their cup all the way up, and then it ends up all the way down here. All of it drains out the bottom of the cup. And that leads to there being a lot of single moms, a lot of older single women in general, which makes the problem worse because by the time they've realized what's happened and the way that they've been tricked by modern society into setting themselves up for failure, it's already much too late for them and their generation because they're now well into their 30s, which, doesn't help their chances at all. And they can't really warn the younger generations of women about it because that's not an easy thing to tell anyone. And on top of that, young people don't like listening to old people anyways. And so that is my sort of observation or explanation of the social phenomenon, once again caused by these hedonistic, Jewish society destroyers, dating apps, and pornography, etc. And I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Am I right? Am I wrong? Please tell me in the comments. Thank you for watching my video. Thank me for making it 7 minutes instead of 15, because that'd be fucking brutal for you, and for me, but for you. And stay active, shooters.